Hi, I'm Ronnie Huffnagel, owner and designer here at Wreaths of Joy. And today we are going to be making a Christmas deco mesh wreath. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing that we have is a 15-inch work form. And on this work form, it already comes with these ties that are already on it. Okay, so there is 18 ties that are on this work form, and they are placed about 5 inches apart. So we're gonna take our 21-inch deco mesh that we have. And so if you have a mesh roller, you can go ahead and use that. And if you don't have one, you can just go ahead and just take your mesh and throw it on the floor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to roll the end of my deco mesh under, and all I gotta do is just then go ahead and scrunch it right up the center, just like that. And so now we're gonna go ahead and place it into one of the ties. So we open a tie, and we're gonna put that down right in there nice and tight, pushing down really securely onto that wire frame. And we're gonna go ahead and give it 2 twists, okay? So the method that we're gonna be doing is the Pouf method. So what you do is you're gonna go ahead and roll the edges under, and you're gonna grab hold of your mesh, just like so. And so, since between ties it's 5 inches, I want a 12.5-inch poof. So I'm gonna skip the first one, that's 5 inches. Second one is 10 inches, and if we go between that second and third, that's 12.5 inches, and then all we do is come back, open up that next tie, and we're just gonna go ahead and put that down right in like so. So we push it down nice and tight, and we twist our ties as close as possible to the mesh. You don't wanna twist it up high because then that's gonna allow this mesh to slip and slide back and forth. Then we come back to our poof, and we just fluff it out a little bit, just so we have that nice little shaped bubble there. So we're gonna grab our mesh again. We're gonna skip the first one. We're gonna skip the second one and go between, about halfway between the second and third. Now we're gonna come back again, and we're gonna simply just place it right into the next tie, twisting it super tight, like so. Fluff it out, give it a nice little fluff, and there we go. We can move on to the next one. So for sake of time, I'm not gonna do this whole entire wreath because this is a little more time consuming, and so we wanna allow for enough time to be able to put all those beautiful enhancements onto this. So we're gonna skip the first one, the second one, and between the second and third, about halfway between. Then you're gonna come back, opening up a twist tie, and just simply placing it right in there, pushing down nice and secure, and twisting it as close as possible to our mesh. So we go ahead, get a hold of our little poof here, just stretch it out, give it a nice little fluff. Now, for sake of time, you would go the whole way around till you start back here, and then, so we're gonna pretend as if we were right here, and we're gonna move up to our second layer. All right, so what you do is you just take your mesh, open the closest tie that's from where you ended, and you're just gonna go ahead, nice and tight, and you're gonna start right here, and you're gonna give it a good twist, okay? So now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna skip the first one, the second one, and go about halfway between the second and third, and we're gonna just come back, opening up the tie, and placing it in. And we're gonna go all the way around till we meet back up at this spot. So when we get to this spot right here, when we come back with our loop, we're gonna open this tie up and then retwist that off. And then we're gonna just take our scissors, we're gonna cut our mesh, leave about 3 or 4 inches, and then all you're gonna do from that point is just stick it right into the center of your wreath. That way it's out of the way. You can fluff out your little poof, and there you go. So the next layer we're going to do is we're gonna take the 10-inch deco mesh. Okay, if you have a ruler, you can measure it out to be precise, or you don't have to, okay? So what we're gonna do is to have about a 20-inch cut. We would need 18 of these, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be making a cruffle, okay? So it's a curl ruffle, and we're gonna place one in each of the ties. So again, you're gonna have 18 of these, but for sake of time, we are just going to only cut 3 to place in so you can see how that works, because I have something that's completed so you can see the finished. One more. So, and again, you don't have to be exact precise on this technique, okay? So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your mesh and you're gonna curl in the end until you have about a 1-inch curl. You're gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. Make another 1-inch curl. Then all you're gonna do is just take your mesh and scrunch it right down the center till they meet, and there you go. And now we come back to our wreath form, and you're gonna open up your tie, just like that, and you're gonna place this one down right in the center, pushing down nice and tight and giving it 2 secured twists, okay? So now it's in place, just like so, and this is the curl ruffle. So we can move on to the next one. All we have to do, curl in the end till we have about a 1-inch curl. Curl in here, and now just simply scrunch down the center, just like that. Okay, come back over to your tie, open it up, and then just place this one in right over top of your 2 little poofs. Okay, and you're gonna twist it nice and tight, spread it out a little bit, give it that little bit of a ruffle technique. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add one more in this spot right here for you to see. Because like I said, we already have it finished for you to take a look at, but we're gonna, you know, for the sake of time, putting the mesh on and then the ribbon tails takes a long time. And so we don't have enough time for that on the show today. So we're gonna open up this tie. We're gonna place this one in right here. Push it down nice and secure, just like so. And we're gonna go the whole way around the wreath. Then we'll come up on the top and do the exact same thing. So this is what it would be looking like, but completely finished, okay? So now the very next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make some ribbon tails. And so what I have, this board that I have, it's called the 4-in-1. There's many different things that you can use, or you can just measure out your ribbon tails. So for our project today, I have 2 ribbons that are selected for this project and for my ribbon tails. So I have a 2.5 inch and a 1.5 inch. So what we're gonna do is we need 18 of each one. So I have these pegs measured about 12 inches apart, okay? So all you have to do is just hold on to this end, and you're just gonna wrap around like so, okay? And we're gonna go around till we have 9 complete times, okay? So for the sake of this project today, we're gonna pretend as if we went around 9 times. So then all I have to do is pull this off, cut my ends, just like this, like this. And then if I had 9, I would end up having 18 full pieces, okay? So then to do the dovetail, here's how I have learned it, is that you take your ribbon, you're gonna fold it in half. So on your folded edge, it should be the side of what hand you are. So if you're right-handed, it should be to the right. If you're left-handed, it will be to the left. You're gonna then take your scissors and you're gonna start on this folded edge. And all you have to do is cut at an angle uphill. And then you'll have this beautiful tail. So let's do that again. We're gonna fold it in half, just like that. My folded edge is to my right side because I am right-handed. And I'm gonna start on that folded edge and I'm gonna cut at an angle uphill. Now, the steeper the cut, the pointier the tails are. So let me show you something that's very steep, okay? So just for you guys to see it. So I'll cut it straight across so you can see. Okay, so we're gonna fold it in half. Now, I'm gonna make one that's extremely steep. See how that would be? Super steep, just like so. So we're just gonna cut it off. I just like to have just a not too steep, not too short, or shallow. I don't even know what degree that would be, but here's about the size that I like them to be, okay? So let me move all this out. We would do the exact same thing with the 2.5 inch as we did with the 1.5, all right? So we're gonna do it again. I need to cut these because we're gonna need these 2 pieces to show you how we place it in to our wreath. All right, so let's go around. Again, we would need 18, so if we did 9 complete turns, once we cut it in half on both ends, we would have 18 pieces, okay? So here we go. We're gonna fold the ribbon in half. All right, so we're gonna fold it, keep them both together. Just like this, in half. My folds to the right, I'm gonna cut it in an angle uphill, and I have that gorgeous tail. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so now we're gonna come back to our wreath, okay? So let me move these pieces out of the way. We would pull our wreath that's completely finished with our mesh over to us. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your 2.5 inch, then your 1.5 inch, and you're gonna place them on top of each other. And I place my 1.5 inch just directly in the center, but on my 2.5 inch, and then I fold it in half. And then I bend it down till I find where the center is. Then I open it, and all I do is I pinch it together. My next step is I take my fingers and I kind of flex it down so it's just kind of like that little V shape, okay? And so we're gonna come back here. We're gonna take our tie and we're gonna put this piece right down to the center. And we're gonna give it 2 good twists. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna separate the ribbons. So we're gonna separate it, and I'm gonna put the 1.5 inch, so they are at the bottom, and I allow my 2.5 inch to be at the top. So all it looks like is like this. Okay, let's do one more, and then I will show you how it looks once you go the whole way around. Okay, so we have the middle, pinch it here, pinch it together. Just give it a good flex. So you have that little bit of a V look. Come over to your tie and you're just gonna set it right down in there. Okay, you're gonna push down really tight and you're gonna twist it as close as possible to that ribbon. And then all you're gonna do is just separate them, just like so. Separate them. And then all I like to do is I like to just give them a little bit of a curl downward a little bit. And that is what you would have. And then you would go the whole way around your wreath. And then what you will have, you set this to the side, is this, the whole way around your wreath, okay? Very, very beautiful, very colorful. Look at these ribbon tails in there. They're all laying perfectly within the wreath. And so now the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring up my bucket of wonderful goodies that we're gonna go ahead and place into this wreath. All right, so we got a sign, which I went ahead and stapled some pipe cleaners on the back. And right now, the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hot glue, and I'm just gonna squirt a little bit of hot glue right where that staple is. That way I know it's staying nice and secure in there, just like that. Now I'm gonna set that to the side and allow it to dry. And I chose lots of fun different picks. And this is where your creativity just starts to come into play. So there's so many different opportunities and options for you as far as making a beautiful wreath like this. I mean, we have varieties of different picks and ornaments that we can place into here. So one of the things I chose was this really, really fun candy garland. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up a tie, and all I'm gonna do is place that in there, give it a good twist, and we're gonna kind of come up to the next one up. So this one was on the bottom, so we're gonna come to that next tie right here and place this one in here. Give it a good twist, come around, down to this next one, down here, twist it like so, and we're back up here at the top, okay? So since I didn't finish completely together, this is where my bow is actually gonna end up being, okay? So now my next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add my sign. So I'm just gonna allow this to lay right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this sign all the way down through the mesh, and I'm gonna twist it on the back side by the wire frame. Sometimes they like to give us trouble. But you wanna be sure that you get it all the way down to the wire frame, so that way it's nice and secured into your wreath, okay? So come to the next one, and this sign says, Santa, please stop here. So cute, so fun. And I'm just simply twisting it off, making sure that my little piece that's from my pipe cleaners, I push them to the center of my wreath. And there we go. I'm gonna set this to the side. We're gonna go ahead and get my ribbons because we are gonna make a beautiful bow right now. So this is my 4-in-1. So the first ribbon I'm gonna use is this gorgeous 4-inch North Pole ribbon. So I want a pretty big tail because I want it to have these nice little spirals. So I'm gonna allow for maybe like 18 inches, and we're gonna just twist it. And I'm gonna hold my hand at the 7, so it'll be a 7-inch loop. We're gonna go ahead and give it a good old twist. There's the 7, and we're gonna scrunch it down there, okay? Then all I have to do is measure my tail so it's the same length, just like so. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next ribbon that we have. And so I'm gonna take this really fun Christmas ribbon right here that's red, that has all the different reindeer names on them. We're gonna go ahead, give it a good dovetail, and we're gonna measure the tail to be about the same length, okay? But this time we're gonna go a little bit shorter on the loop. Gonna give it a good twist, a little shorter, same thing. Go ahead, measure your tail. Give it a dovetail again, and go ahead and move to your next ribbon. We have this cute little Christmas bear ribbon. So as long as your ribbons are matching the theme of your wreath, this is all you would have to do, is just make sure your ribbons are matching everything with the theme, and it doesn't matter if you are mixing and matching all different patterns. It will all look beautiful as long as the colors are going well together. Okay, so now we're gonna come down here. We're gonna give it a good dovetail. We have this wonderful candy cane and candy ribbon, okay? So that's gonna be my last ribbon, but we're gonna go back to the ribbon that we use for doing our dovetail, our little tails in our ribbon. So we'll give it a nice fold. We'll go ahead down in here. All right, just like so.
As you go, you make them smaller and smaller?
As I go, I continue to make these loops smaller and smaller as we go. You want a little bit of that loop to be sticking out, so that was a great question, Zach. And so your bow is just getting a little bit smaller and smaller as far as each loop goes. Okay. And then you're going to need 2 pipe cleaners for this project. So what we're going to do, we got 2 pipe cleaners. We're going to take our other pipe cleaner. We're going to go right underneath, just like so. You're going to pull your ribbon up. Okay, if you make hand bows, that's perfectly fine too. I'm gonna take another pipe cleaner, I'm gonna lay it on the back side just like that. That is gonna be the pipe cleaner I'm using to attach it to my wreath. Okay, so this is what we got. So we're gonna just go ahead and fluff out these loops, okay? So they look real pretty. All nice and fluffed out. We got this gorgeous looking bow. It's like you got a little cough today, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and place this into our wreath, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take our bow alongside. My sign, I always keep it to the right-hand side, and my bows, I tend to keep them to the left. So we're gonna just go ahead, get it twisted down to the center of our wreath, so it's around the wreath form. Okay, and you're just gonna twist it and make sure that you get it to the work form itself, the wire form. Okay, and then here we go. We got these gorgeous tails that are hanging down here. So now you can take a look at all of your loops, and if there's anything that needs fluffed out a little better, you can go ahead and fluff those. Okay, so here we go. We got this gorgeousness happening, and I love it. All right, so if we need to trim any tails, we can go ahead and trim some. If we have one side a little longer than another, you can do that. So each ribbon, you want a little bit extra looking out from the ribbon from below. So this one needs trimmed just a tad, just a smidgen. And there we go. So we got these nice, big, beautiful tails that are fluffed out here on our gorgeous wreath. Okay, this one's a little bit long, so we'll trim this one down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Okay, so. Okay, now our very next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start inserting all the fun little objects that we have, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna actually add in is this gorgeous little candy house, okay? So we're gonna just poke this down into the wreath, and we're gonna just run some hot glue right onto our stem here, and we're gonna go ahead and poke that down into the wreath, allowing it to touch onto something. Now I'm putting at the top of this bow because it gives that a nice little enhancing touch to our beautiful bow that we have designed. Okay, so that is why I placed it right there. So I'm gonna give it a little bend so that way it will sit into my wreath the proper way. And then I can refluff my tail there, push it down in a little, and my loops. There we go. Okay, and by tapping on the ends of your loops, it will round them out really well for you. So you just tap them, and it'll give them a nice little rounded edge. Okay, so there we got that gorgeous little house up there. So now let's go ahead and take a fun little reindeer, right? So we're gonna go ahead, get some hot glue into him. And this is where you just decide how you want it to look, and you get creative and design it to look super fun for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're happy, then you have a successful wreath, correct? So we're gonna go ahead and place a really fun little peppermint lollipop, all right, in. So all we're doing is we're adding lots of hot glue. And as long as this area of where the glue is touching onto a tie or on some really good mesh, then it's gonna go ahead and get secured right into place for you. So we're gonna just pop that baby right in there just to give it some of that candy theme. We have some smaller ones where we can maybe pop some in over on the side, right here. We're gonna get her tucked down into there. And we got this nice little fun candy right there. How about we have a Santa hat we could pop in different places as well. Let me take a peek at this so we can be sure we have some fun with these Santa hats here. Because we all need a little fun Santa hat. So I take and I just kind of search around my wreath till I find that right perfect spot. And when I find it, that's when I add my hot glue and then I go ahead and place it. So it's always best to test it out, see if you like it first, and then put your hot glue in and go from there. Okay, so we got another fun little reindeer here. So maybe we can bring him down at the bottom and he can be right here alongside of this sign here at the bottom. And we pop him in here just like so. Okay, we'll get our tails, make sure they're behind him. Okay, now next thing I have some ornament balls. These are always great to take hot glue at the top of your ornament and find those ties that maybe don't have anything in them, and you just take them and place them straight into your wreath to give that nice little fill where your ribbon tails are. So it looks really good there. It adds some extra color and some fun. We have a spot right over here. We're gonna go ahead and put one there. Now, if you have those ornaments that this top piece comes off, I would hot glue them first, make sure they're on there nice and secure, and then pop them on, and then add your hot glue again at the top, okay? So we got a good bit of hot glue. Be careful you don't burn yourself, because you definitely don't want that to happen. I've gotten burned so many times that I can't even tell you. So crafting can be a little dangerous, you know, is what I say. But it's so fun and so worth all of the maybe bumps and bruises along the way. So there we got another one. So we'll come over here. This is already filled. Maybe we'll pop a ornament ball right down here. And the nice thing is when you have these ties right here, if you leave that space right there, this will really adhere to with the hot glue. So it should hold your ornament balls in very, very securely, and you won't have to worry about them coming loose or falling out of your wreath for you. So give it some time to allow it to dry. So we're gonna come down here. We have the ornament ball there, so we're good there. So I think we have enough ornament balls into there. We can add some more peppermint lollipops. We're just gonna cut this little string because that's how peppermints came. And so let's find a nice spot where we can add this gorgeous little lollipop. So we definitely have not much sticking out over on this side, so we want to go ahead and add some fun pieces in over here. We don't want this side of the wreath to be left out, so we're just going to go ahead, stick that down into there, and allow that peppermint to kind of be sticking out right over there. So we got another big one. Maybe we can pop it in over here. So I'm gonna go ahead, give this a little spin, take a peek. Yep, there's a good spot right there. And then when I'm completely finished with this wreath, I will turn it over. Any excess stems that happen to be sticking out, I will snip those off and make sure there's no sharp edges sticking out that could scratch someone's door or their wall. And then here is our completed Christmas design. So very simple, not very difficult. Anybody can do this. If I can do this, I know that you can do this too. We are so happy that you are here to join us today. And please follow us on Hometalk here, and we will see you on the next video. Bye, everyone.